What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 416. And what did Bank say? Blue Yankee fitted G-Unit sneakers. Yeah, man, the G-Unit sneakers are back. I just had to immediately talk about that because y'all know I'm a G-Unit fan, all this. And they're coming back officially on August 20th on Reebok, I believe, online, and then some select in-store locations, retailers and stuff like that. Maybe Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, stuff like that. Yeah, which is exciting, man, because as a kid, I couldn't get the shoes. I was obviously like 8 years old, so my parents weren't going to spend the money on getting those shoes at all. So as a kid, I didn't get a chance to enjoy that moment when it comes to anything G-Unit clothing. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. Nostalgia for that is crazy, and I think a lot of people that were young at the time that couldn't get the shoes now can because they're adults. And, yeah, retailing for $130. They're releasing the OG G6 colorway. You know, if that succeeds, I'm pretty sure Reebok's going to release more. Yeah, I'm going to get me 2 pairs. I'm going to get me one just for collection purposes. I'm going to try to get everybody from G-Unit to sign it. I'm going to drive to Nashville, get Buck to sign it. I'm going to talk to Who Kid, get him to sign it. I'm going to try to get Yayo to sign it, 50, and Banks, and everybody, you know, that had a role in G-Unit, basically those people. And maybe Game too. Fuck it, why not? If I can get Game to sign it, that'd be cool. So I'm going to try to keep a pair just for collection purposes and then a pair to actually wear. So yeah, that's exciting, man. I just remember, man, as a kid, by the time I was able to like buy G-Unit clothing, I remember because I lived in Iowa at the time, and Iowa wasn't, you know, the hip hop hub. Let's just say that. When I was a kid, you know, my parents, God bless them, they tried their best, but they couldn't afford, you know, obviously name brand clothing all the time. You know, my mom in 2000 and I want to say 7, something like that, when I was in middle school, paid like $110 for some Jordans that I bought, some black ones. I don't remember what the Jordan like name of them are, but I just wanted these black Jordans that I saw. They were like $110, which is like right now adjusted for inflation is almost like $200. But yeah, she worked hard and bought those shoes for me, which was, you know, one of those moments that, you know, my mom mainly. My dad was like, hell no, you're getting the cheapest of the cheap. But my mom was the one that was, and you know, you need a balance of that. You need a somebody who's like not spending, somebody that's spending, and kind of have a balance of both, where my dad was more strict, didn't spend. My mom was more like lenient with us and let us have some cool things. But yeah, I remember her buying those. But I say that to say, like, by the time I was able to make my own money mowing lawns, because that's when I first started, like, thankfully, man, I'm blessed to say I never had an actual job, right, to work for somebody else. I always owned my own business, did my own thing since a kid. So I started mowing lawns, and these lawns were basically my brother's. He was the one that went around and asked people, hey, can I mow your lawn? He was doing it to get some money. And then once he got an actual job, he just gave me those people that he would mow their lawns. He just gave them to me. And yeah, I made money off that. I made $10, $15, $20 a lawn. And, you know, you would stack that up. And, you know, as a kid at 13 years old, making $100, that's a lot of money, man. You feel like you're a multimillionaire. So I had some of that money, and I ended up trying to find G-Unit clothing. But by the time I made money like that, it was like 2007, and the clothing was starting to die out, and no retailer was carrying it. So I ended up in Iowa finding a store. It was basically like a Ross. I don't know if you know, like these Ross stores and these TJ Maxxes, where basically the clothing that doesn't sell anymore, it gets put there on like super clearance. And I ended up finding a black G-Unit shirt that fit my size. Not really. It was kind of a little bit bigger. I think it was medium or large. I wore the hell out of that shirt, man. I loved it. I don't know why. I don't know why I ever threw it away. I should have kept it. And I had an old MySpace photo that I wish I would have kept too, where I had the G-Unit shirt on. And I don't know why I was doing this, but I was throwing the West Side sign with my hands, which made no sense because 50's from New York. But whatever, I was just doing it as a kid. And I just remember that photo, and I was like, man, that G-Unit shirt I was wearing, like that just is prime, you know, like G-Unit days. And yeah, so I never got a chance to really, you know, own like proper G-Unit clothing or shoes. So this is like a cool, you know, nostalgia thing for me that I'm definitely going to, you know, purchase. Hopefully they bring out different colorways, and, you know, I'm down to purchase all of them. To me, you know, I never got a chance to do it. So why not do it now? So yeah, that's exciting, man. I hope you guys, if anybody's, you know, buying them, let me know. It'd be cool to see what people think. And, you know, I don't care what people think in public. Like, people are worried about, oh, if you're wearing G-Unit shoes in 2026, like, well, what are people going to say? Like, who gives a shit what other people say? People talk shit regardless, whether you wear G-Unit shoes or not. People are going to talk shit. So I don't give a shit about other people's opinions and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I'm not much of a big shoe guy right now. The only pair of shoes that I ever bought that was really expensive, actually two I bought, which was stupid. So, as the YouTube money was coming in, I had gotten a good check. This is back in like 2019 or something like that, or 2018. And me being a dumbass, basically, I ended up buying. So these are the two pair of shoes that I bought that were expensive. I bought the Nike Air Force Off-White shoes that were lime green. I think I spent $700 on them. And to be fair, I think they held their value. So if I do sell them right now, I probably could get that money back. But I ended up buying those for $700, which is insane. And then I bought some. This is the dumbest purchase because those Nike Air Forces, they're actually good. Like, I actually wore them. I enjoyed them. It wasn't like a bad purchase, like in terms of the shoes themselves. But then I ended up buying some Burberry shoes, and they were trash, bro. Uncomfortable, look like dog shit. In the photos, they look good. And I spent $800 on those shoes. Thank God I ended up selling them for at least $400. So I got at least like half my money back, which was still a huge loss. But hey, at least I got some money back from it. Yeah, from there, I was just like, why am I spending like stupid? Like, what's the difference between a different shoe than this? Like, there's nothing special about these shoes. Like, it's shoes at the end of the day. So yeah, since then, I haven't spent more than $100 on shoes, I don't think, ever. Maybe because, now with shoes, average is like $100, like a decent shoe. So yeah, I probably haven't spent more than $130 on shoes ever. And I barely buy shoes. I think the last time I bought shoes was like 2-3 years ago. So yeah, just clothing and stuff like that. As you can see on the podcast, I wear damn near the same shit every time I'm recording a podcast. Especially in the summer, I just like to wear black tees, regular black tees, nothing special. I change these out every 3 months, basically, or every 3 to 6 months because they start to wear out and start to just get like very, I don't know, explain it, fabric-y, whatever, like loose and just, around the neck starts to get loose and just stuff like that. And yeah, so I just don't buy. Like, after that, I was just like, why am I spending, and I ended up buying like a Burberry shirt too that was like, it was like a button-up shirt. I spent like $300. It was just dumb, like dumb purchases that made no sense, that was stupid, ignorant, and just like, I don't care how much money I make, man. The only thing I told myself this, if I make some really, really good money, is I'll buy a nice watch. That's it. Everything else, I'm just going to buy regular clothes, maybe a nice watch. That's it. I have my car, obviously, which is nice. But other than that, I'm not, like, I don't understand the flexing of chains and designer clothes everywhere. But I mean, hey, everybody, how you spend your money is how you're spending money. It is what it is, man. If you got the money to spend and you think it's cool to buy for yourself, then hey, man, everybody has their things that they I guess their vices that they enjoy and like to splurge on. So for me, like a car, to some people, it was like, why would you spend the Audi R8? I bought it well over $200,000, and why would you spend that kind of money on a car? People look at that and say a car gets you from point A to point B, and they're right. It's the same. That car gets you to some same location, point A to point B, the same way, just a little bit cooler. That's it. There's nothing really special about it. So I get when people say, why are you spending money on this? But they spend on something else, So, I don't really care what people do with their money at the end of the day. Just be smart with it. Don't blow it and end up in a situation where you end up being homeless because you're just blowing money on stupid things. Yeah, that's just, throughout the years, I started getting some money from YouTube that I never saw in my life. So, of course, when you get that kind of money, you're not really thinking logically. You're like, oh, my God, like I can just buy this and I can buy that. And then before you know it, you just blew a lot of money and you're like, what the fuck? So yeah. And with this stuff too, it's also, it fluctuates up and down. You could have a great month and then you could have a bad 3 months. And then if you average it out, you're not really making a lot of money, So that's what business is. It just fluctuates up and down. So it's never a consistent pay, ever. Yeah. I can't wait for the shoes, but there's a lot of news. Let's get into it. And a lot of this is just about lawsuits, updates on trials, and some new revelations. So let's go over it. And we're going to start out with Lil Durk because I think the Durk one's the most important. We're going to go over Keefe D. We're going to go over Yayo and Bleek going back at it again. We're going to go over a lot of stuff. So let's start with Durk. And the first one is Lil Durk has filed to have text messages removed from his upcoming trial. So Lil Durk has just 3 weeks before his murder for hire trial in Los Angeles. Overall, this is a massive trial for not just Durk, but hip-hop as a whole. Fans will be watching intently, and there is already more than enough controversy to go around. Recently, Durk scored a huge win after the prosecution tried to add Chicago and Atlanta-based allegations to the case at the last minute. Durk was able to get the allegations removed. The judge even scolded the prosecution for attempting dirty tricks. Now Durk's legal team, including Drew Findling and Brian Steele, are attempting to get some evidence removed from the record. According to All Hip Hop, there is an alleged text message from 2021 that is turned up as a part of the case. However, Durk's legal team contends that the text message has been in the custody of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation since early July 2021. Durk was the victim of a home invasion during that time, with his legal team saying his phone was unlawfully seized during the ensuing investigation. There is no good reason that the government should have waited until 1 month before trial to seek a warrant for evidence that has been in law enforcement's custody since 2021, Durk's legal team wrote in their filing. The judge has yet to make a ruling on the latest request. However, it is clear that Durk is keeping the fight alive in the days leading up to the trial. Damn, they're doing some dirty tactics, man. They're trying to really pull everything out of this. And here's another thing. Lil Durk is fighting to keep a music video out of the murder for hire trial. So, according to All Hip Hop, the prosecution wants to use the music video to Durk's 2021 song Pissed Me Off. The prosecution believes Durk's V-Roy chain, as well as his King Von imagery, is evidence that he allegedly put out a hit on Rondo and Lil Pab. Furthermore, the prosecution says that the very location of the music video is further proof of Durk's alleged motivations. The video was shot on 59th Street on Princeton Avenue, which prosecutors say is associated with the Black Disciples. They also claim that Durk and his crew were using gang signs in the video, which further connects OTF as an alleged criminal enterprise. Throughout the case, Durk's legal team has been adamant that lyrics and music videos should not be put on trial. It is a major First Amendment issue, and it is also a knock against artists' freedom of expression. While Durk's legal team has been successful at pushing against the prosecution at times, there is no telling if the latest battle to keep music videos out of court will yield similar results. So yeah, they're trying to bring everything into this. And here's another update. The prosecutors are seeking a gag order ahead of the trial. So Lil Durk's trial is just around the corner, and the streets are still screaming free Durk. But while his team believes that they'll beat the murder for hire federal case, the government is trying to ensure silence from him and his team. Per All Hip Hop, the federal prosecutors are seeking court-ordered restrictions to prevent public comments surrounding Durk's criminal case. In documents filed with the court, they argued ongoing media coverage and online statements could jeopardize the selection of an impartial jury. The failed attempts to reach voluntary agreement with the defense led prosecutors to ask U.S. District Judge Michael Fitzgerald to issue a limited gag order in a motion submitted on Monday. It claims that Durk's legal team declined the government's proposal, prompting prosecutors to request judicial intervention. The prosecutors claimed that recent public comments, including those shared on Lil Durk's Instagram and others made by his attorney, Drew Findling, in interviews, might impact the fairness of the trial. They believe that comments about amplified publicity from these public statements challenge the legitimacy of the charges. If the court grants the request, attorneys and others connected to proceedings would be prohibited from publicly discussing topics such as witness testimony, credibility of evidence, the character of individuals involved, and other issues that could influence prospective jurors. The proposed order would also restrict interviews, press conferences, and press releases related to the case. Judge Fitzgerald has not yet decided whether to impose the requested gag order. A hearing on the matter is scheduled for August 13th, with jury selection currently expected to begin on August 20th. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going with this Durk trial, but we'll see, man. It's going to be one of like this one, Keefe D, there's Mo 3, there's Big U. And I know people wanted to come to have me cover the Celeste on, I don't know, that guy's artist name, that piece of shit, that David, I think his name is, or I don't know. The reason why I haven't covered that is because, one, that guy's just like, he's a nobody, right? Like before this, was anybody really bumping that guy's music? Barely. The fact that he's even called an artist is like funny to me. So that he's not really an artist. I could give two shits about him. 2, he's a piece of shit. 3, I don't want to go over the details of a 13, 14-year-old just getting mutilated, raped. It just mentally for me, I just don't want to deal with that. I saw Trap Lil Ross cry about it. I'm like, I don't want to. I get too angry about that stuff, and I end up not even talking about the case and just talking about how much of a piece of shit the person is. And to be honest with you, he deserves everything. He deserves to die, like literally. Like, put him on death penalty, kill him, or just put him life in prison because that's probably more punishment. Put him in solitary confinement for the rest of his life in a box. Feed him once a day. Get whippings on him. Like, get people to just beat the dog shit out of him every day. Give him just enough to live so that they can keep beating him every single day. That's what I wish for that guy. And anyone that does any type of thing like this, like, I just haven't covered it because, I just don't want to. That type of shit is just, to me, I just can't do it. I really can't. Because it's sad, man, overall. So, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff going on with the Durk, Keefe D, Biggie U, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. And, yeah, I'll cover all that, and we'll see what happens with those. But, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted on the Durk stuff. Updates on the Chris Brown dog attack victim. And she's seeking money from the earnings that Chris Brown is making from his touring because he's clearing in a lot of money. I mean, in the last tour, I think he cleared in like 70 million, some dumb, crazy, way more money than that. Like, I forget what the number is, but just insane money. So let's go over this article. Earlier this month, Chris Brown was ordered to pay $13 million to his former housekeeper, Maria Avila. For those who don't remember, Avila was attacked by one of Brown's dogs at his home. She subsequently suffered physical and emotional wounds. This led to a trial in which the jury ruled in her favor. According to TMZ, Brown has made no effort to satisfy any portion of the judgment. As a result, Avila is looking to gain access to the singer's financial records. She believes Brown should be ordered to go to court in order for these documents to be assessed. In fact, it is being reported that Avila wants every single dime Brown has made from the R&B tour with Usher. Throughout her court filing, she mentions the tour and how Brown is making a pretty penny without coming up with a payment plan. If the tour money isn't enough to cover the $13 million settlement, she also wants Brown's residuals and project money until the sum is officially paid off. So far, Brown has not responded to Avila's requests. Yeah, she's just trying to collect her money. And this is, I don't understand court rulings. Like, if it's funny because, like, the court can rule, okay, you're owed $13 million. But then you have to do the work to try to get it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I think in the only like certain like situations where it's like forced, like the government, for example, if you owe the government money, they will like force their way into your bank account and extract money from you. They will freeze your bank account, extract money as they can, and that's a different situation. Like, they forced their way. But why can't that be in courts? Like, why can't, hey, a judgment's, this lady won $13 million. They force Chris Brown to go in his accounts and force to either come up with a payment plan or take that $13 million if he has it. Like, I don't get why, like, then the person has to, after they're awarded the money, the person has to then chase to get the money. Like, that makes no sense. What's the point of you getting awarded the money at that point? It's like the O.J. Simpson thing, right? So the actual, like, criminal case, he was acquitted, good to go. But then civil case, which was Ron Goldman, was the guy that got killed. Nicole Simpson got killed, and then Ron Goldman. Ron Goldman's family, they won the civil case and found him liable, and they won, I believe, $30 million, but they never got a penny from it until he died. Now, like, there's like things where they're figuring out, certain ways to make some type of money. They basically got $500,000 out of the whole thing throughout 30 years. So it's like you have to go chase like a settlement, or not a settlement, but if you win the case, you still are not guaranteed the money. It's stupid. You got to go chase the person, which is interesting. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I wish I need to, like, on this podcast, like, get a lawyer to come in sometimes and call in and just say, hey, this is how it goes, because I don't understand sometimes. I just don't get it. I'm like, these courts are just like some of the dumbest shit ever. But that's the update on that, and we'll see what happens if she actually succeeds. Man, I'm messing up my words as usual in every single podcast episode. I apologize, guys. But yeah, that's the interesting part about this, and we'll see. Updates on the Drake and Stake class action lawsuit in Virginia. So let's go over it. Drake, Stake, Adin Ross, Kick, and George Nugan have been at the center of various legal pursuits accusing them of alleged illegal gambling scheme to boost Drizzy's streams. But some of these lawsuits have fallen out of favor in court, leading to dismissals. And the latest example of this, a class action lawsuit from 2025 in Virginia, has reportedly been terminated by a judge. According to the OVO docket on Twitter, a federal judge shut down the claims in the lawsuit, accusing Stake of running an illegal online casino, funding the Six Gods fake music streams to disparage competitors via this scheme. The judge reportedly ruled that one of the 8 plaintiffs in this case waived the right to sue Stake. That's due to an enforceable attribution agreement with the company the plaintiffs signed on August 15, 2025. This agreement reportedly requires arbitration to solve disputes, not lawsuits. Also, the judge found that the other 7 plaintiffs did not have stake accounts and never used their services, thus leaving them unable to sue. Discovery process did not begin in the case, and none of the plaintiffs' allegations saw validation from the court. This follows the breakdown of another lawsuit accusing Drake of botting. This one was much different, though, as it was against Spotify and did not name the Toronto superstar as a defendant. However, RBX's amended complaint in this dismissed case still implicates him as an alleged beneficiary of the streaming service's unfair alleged practices. As for other legal matters concerning stake, the boy and the company want courts to toss the lawsuits, such as the New Mexico case, on similar grounds as this Virginia filing. They continue to deny the accusations against them. Many of these other cases levy similar allegations against the defendants concerning illegal gambling practices on stake and alleged stream botting, but none of them have seen approval or validation from the court at press time, whether due to dismissal or because the cases remain active. Man, you know what's crazy, man? I think Delta, I don't know what airline, I think it was Delta, announced that they're going to be having draft picks in the Delta Airlines, you know, the screens that when you sit, there's a screen in front of you. Like the gambling shit is getting out of control. It's everywhere. Like, have you guys noticed this? It is literally everywhere. They want you to gamble. And what's interesting is you'll see videos. So when the whole World Cup thing was happening, I saw content creators talk about like certain players, blah, 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 and stuff. And they would just randomly like sneak in like, yo, on Polymarket or on Kalshi and all these other gambling websites, this player is looked at as going to be the winner. Like they just randomly put that in the video, like sneak it in there and make it like seamless. But that's literally an ad. And it's not even disclosed as an ad. Like you don't have to mention that's from Polymarket. You say, look, this is what the charts say. It's looking like, you know, you don't even have to mention the charts. Who gives a shit what people predict and say? But even if you do, like you don't have to mention the company. So it is an ad that's not even disclosed as an ad, which is illegal. So I'm just letting you guys know, be very careful when you see these things because it's all over the fucking place. I can't escape it, and I'm getting pissed off about it. Like now it's going to be in my fucking airlines, DraftKings. Like, come on, guys. This is getting ridiculous. There needs to be laws set. There needs to be regulations. This needs to be toned down by a lot because the gambling shit is getting out of control, and it's causing a lot of people to go bankrupt and homeless and broke as fuck because I can speak for only America. America has made an economy where people now can barely work to survive. So from that, they are finding other ways to make revenue and money. So they're willing to take whatever extra money, even small little bits, and gamble it in hopes that they hit some type of big win. And, you know, 98% of the time they don't. There's a rare 2% that manage to do it, but it's just not a smart thing to do. I know people want quick satisfaction, you know, and want money quickly, and I get it. But it's better to take, let's say you have $50 at the end of the month, right? Extra money. It's better to take that and invest it, you know, an S&P 500 or something that can slowly build over time. That way, when you become 60, 70 years old, you have an actual retirement versus trying to risk whatever extra money you have and hoping that you hit something big and you can flip it immediately. Yeah, it's just sad, man, to see all this stuff. It's all over the fucking place. I can't escape it. It's all over. I scroll on TikTok. There's an ad with Kalshi. There's an ad with Polymarket. There's an ad with DraftKings. You go on podcasts. You watch podcasts. There's an ad on DraftKings. There's an ad on this. There's, oh, this is a bet on a spread it. Like, it's getting ridiculous, man. It is getting out of fucking control. Like, people are betting on just everything now. Whether what the weather is going to be like today, whether this person's going to this team, whether this or that, whether this person's going to drop an album, what's the title of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, even Drake, he said it on Iceman. Shorty trying to finesse me Polymarket for bread. I think he said something like that. She was trying to get Drake's album title so that she could, you know, put down a Polymarket and win money on it. Like, everything's turned into a bet. Whether you fucking breathe today, it's turning into, like, it's just stupid. Everything is, it's gotten, like, ridiculous, man. How is this, like, acceptable in today's society? How are we just, like, rolling with these punches and just, like, all right, this is acceptable? Like, we shouldn't be betting on people and just random shit that, like, anything. We just, like, there needs to be limitations on shit because it's just getting ridiculous, man. This is, like, it's overstimulating, too. Like, have you guys felt overstimulated? Like, I'm seeing, like, articles say that viewers want less edited content now because is just overstimulating, the crazy effects and texts and all this stuff like all over the screen. Like, is that true? As you guys, as viewers, you guys want more simpler content, or you guys want still the crazy effects and all this? And like on the podcast, we do pretty bare minimum editing. We don't have like crazy zoom ins and text all over the place. And I think that's just bad for the brain to see that consistently. Like, I get it on certain content every now and then, but it's just out of control, bro. Like, this shit is just overstimulating. I'm just going on a whole rant, but you guys get it. Like, it's just, it's just crazy out here, man. So that's the update on this, and we'll see what happens moving forward with the other lawsuits. Kanye West has avoided trial, and on the ones that we reported on this sexual assault lawsuit, it is settled officially. So let's go over it. It's been quite the year for Kanye West, who has been working diligently and trying to repair his public image. However, behind the scenes, it wasn't just about trying to apologize for the wildly insensitive and racist remarks he made. His former assistant, Lauren Pisciat, sued him for sexual harassment in 2024, but according to court documents filed in Los Angeles, the two have now reached a settlement in the case. Per TMZ, the parties reached an unconditional settlement on July 23rd. The filing states that a formal request to dismiss the case will be submitted within 45 days of the agreement. Financial terms and any other conditions of the settlement have not been made public, and neither side has commented on the resolution. Pisciata alleged that she was subjected to repeated sexual harassment during her employment before ultimately being dismissed. So, yeah, he settled it. West has consistently denied the allegations made in the lawsuit. However, the lawsuit was not the first time West has faced allegations of sexual misconduct. In a separate claim, a woman named Jen Ann accused a musician of sexually assaulting and physically assaulting her during an incident in 2010. West has denied previous allegations. Now, settlement does not mean guilt. I want to repeat that. A settlement does not mean guilt. Sometimes you just want to get the situation out the way and you don't want to deal with the bullshit. And it's unfortunate that people settle. I wouldn't if I was 100% innocent, but hey, everybody's different. Some people just want to, hey, you want $500,000? Let me just get the fuck up out of here instead of having to go to court, deal with every blah, blah, blah that's being brought up in court, and you got to attend it, and you got to go through trial, and then you got to figure out if it actually goes your way, and just waste a lot of time. And that's why people settle, because Kanye probably doesn't want to deal with that shit. So I'm not saying he did it or didn't do it. Who knows? He probably did do it. He probably didn't. Who knows? But that is settled, and it's done and out the way. So she's got a bag on her hands. Updates on the Jay-Z, Tony Buzbee lawsuits that are going back and forth. Let's go over this. A little-known New York statute that allows attorneys to be sued for intentionally deceiving a court has become the latest battleground in Jay-Z's legal fight against Texas lawyer Tony Buzbee. All Hip Hop reports that the rapper and business mogul has asked a federal judge in the Southern District of New York for permission to file a third amendment complaint, adding a claim under New York Judiciary Law Section 487. The law, which is infrequently invoked, permits civil claims against attorneys accused of deliberately misleading either the court or parties involved in litigation. If a violation is established, damages may be tripled. The proposed amendment centers on Buzbee and attorney David Fortney's handling of the now dismissed civil lawsuit accusing Jay-Z of sexual assault. According to the filing, the dispute began after U.S. District Judge Analisa Torres directed Buzbee to provide proof that he was admitted to practice before the Southern District of New York. Jay-Z's attorneys allege Buzbee subsequently learned his application for admission had been denied. Carter's legal team reportedly claims that after receiving that news, Buzbee sent Fortney to meet with the woman identified in court records as Jane Doe. The plaintiff in the dismissed lawsuit. The amended complaint alleges Fortney falsely told Doe that Jay-Z had threatened her life and that continuing the case had become too dangerous. Jay-Z's attorneys allegedly argued those statements were knowingly false and were made to persuade Doe to voluntarily dismiss the lawsuit for reasons unrelated to the merits of her claims. According to the filing, the alleged objective was to end the litigation before additional scrutiny could be placed on what Carter's legal team describes as fraudulently filed lawsuit in a court where Buzbee allegedly was not authorized to practice. Jay-Z's attorneys further argue that the dismissal deprived him of opportunity to fully clear his name through the litigation process, while allegations of child sexual assault remained part of the public record. They also contend the lawsuit caused significant reputational, personal, and harm to his businesses. Judge Del E. Ho will now decide whether the amended complaint can move forward. If approved, Buzbee is expected to challenge the new claim and could seek its dismissal. Further, the ruling could also determine how quickly the parties moved into discovery. According to the filing, proceedings in the Southern District of New York are not automatically paused while dismissal motions are pending. This means Jay-Z's legal team could pursue emails, text messages, internal communications, and deposition testimony related to Buzbee's admission status. The meeting with Jane Doe and the decision to dismiss the underlying lawsuit, those materials could also become relevant in the party's separate legal proceedings in California, where related allegations remain ongoing. So, yeah, Jay-Z is fighting this shit back and is looking to destroy this guy, basically, for even trying to go after his name. And this is what somebody does when they're innocent, right? If you're innocent, you know you haven't done anything wrong, you fight back at the end of the day. That's what I would do to clear my name. I would fight back, so Jay-Z's doing the right thing. We'll see what happens moving forward with it, but it's interesting nonetheless. I want to talk quick about Diddy. Like I said, he got into a fight, put into solitary confinement, but doesn't matter. His sentence has been pushed up. So he was originally scheduled to be locked up from April 15th. That got pushed up to February 23rd. And now his release date has been pushed up to January 24th. It's like this guy is just getting his dates pushed up for no reason. Even though he got into a fight, solitary confinement, this is what happens when you're rich, man. You get shit moved up and everything goes your way regardless. So that's the quick update on Diddy. But yeah, we'll see if anything affects things moving forward with him. It looks like songs are going to be used in court with the Yella Beezy and Mo 3 murder for hire trial. So Judge Chika Aniem made a significant ruling in court on Monday ahead of Yella Beezy's murder for hire trial. Yella Beezy is accused of hiring Keywan White to murder rapper Mo 3. Now, a couple of Yella Beezy's songs can be used as evidence of the alleged crime. Yella Beezy and his legal team have been fighting to keep rap lyrics out of the courtroom. However, Judge NEM has ruled that Yella Beezy's songs "Keep It in the Streets" and "On Your Head" can be used by the prosecution. Furthermore, the Mo 3 song 219 can also be presented as evidence. The song touches on the shooting of Mo 3's associate, Royal Lee Pete. According to XXL, songs aren't the only thing that can be used as evidence. Social media posts from Mo 3 and Yella Beezy can be used. Furthermore, Beezy's Vlad TV interview from 7 years ago can also be used. Damn, they're going in on that shit. They said, bring all this shit in. Keywan White, the man accused of killing Mo 3, is set to go on trial August 24th. Yella Beezy's trial will take place soon after. During the fight to keep rap lyrics out of court, Beezy's legal team brought in Dr. Eric Nielsen, the University of Richmond professor, has expertise in the area of rap lyrics and their history of being used in court. It was here that he made an argument against them being permissible. People found rap lyrics to be far more literal than the exact same lyrics characterized as country. Dr. Nielsen explained, if they're saying I did this or I did that, it can sound like a straight confession. It's a perfect way to send people to jail for something they did not do. This sets a bad precedent for freedom of speech in hip-hop. Allowing lyrics to be used is a slippery slope. Unfortunately for Yella Beezy, the decision appears to be final. Terrible, bro. Vlad TV interview being used, lyrics being used, and social media posts being used. But these guys are morons, man. I don't know why they go on social media, first off, to announce or do any of this shit online. As far as the music, I don't get making fun of people that you killed and stuff like that. I just would stay away from it, but it is what it is, I guess. And then Vlad TV interview, I guess it's a bad look for Vlad because they're going to say he's the feds because he asked all these crazy questions, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. Lil Durk murder for hire trial, this trial, Keefe D, all these trials. There's going to be a lot of updates coming soon. The Big U situation has turned into something very, very crazy, and it's involving Future. It's involving Big U threatening to kill someone and all kinds of crazy stuff. So let's go over this article of the 7 new charges Big U has been hit with. So let's go over it. Eugene Big U Henley is currently in a world of trouble as he faces 7 more charges in his racketeering case. If you may remember, Henley was arrested back in March of 2025 on a 43-count indictment. It was here where the alleged Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips leader was accused of murder, extortion, robbery, wire fraud, and human trafficking. The prosecution has called Big U's music operation as an alleged mafia-like organization. Now they're going after him for allegedly trying to have a witness murdered. According to All Hip Hop, the witness in question is reportedly set to testify in Big U's federal trial. These 7 new charges include 2 counts of solicitation to commit a crime of violence, 2 counts of witness tampering, 1 count of conspiracy to transport someone for prostitution, and 2 counts of wire fraud. As part of these allegations, prosecutors are claiming that Big U has been trying to run his enterprise from jail. Furthermore, they say he has been going to inmates, asking them to handle issues such as witnesses. These are all allegations right now and have not been tried in the court of law. The Mogul's trial is set to take place in February of next year. He will have 6 other defendants alongside him for this case. In the midst of this, Big U is looking to keep wiretap recordings out of his trial. A court hearing on this matter will be held soon. Now, that's crazy, and it's not looking good, man. There's been, like, rumors of Big U allegedly having something to do with killing Nipsey, which is insane, and I don't know if they end up revealing something of that, where he had something to do with that. Who knows? But here's something that's crazy that I was just shocked to hear. Wack 100 and Big U are accused of chasing Future around an airport. So let's go over this. Big U remains behind bars amid new charges against him in his federal racketeering trial, but the accusations against him have changed significantly, including more specific allegations regarding Wack 100 and an altercation with Future. What was once a mythical and uncorroborated story is now in Big U's paperwork. In a clip caught by NBA Hoops on Twitter, academics read an old story about Atlanta artists allegedly running into gang members at an airport. For those unaware, Wack had made these allegations back in 2022, claiming he and Henley, aka Big U, chased Future at the LAX airport in Los Angeles because he owed Trick money. This was allegedly while Hendrix was with Sierra. He and his camp, including Doughboy, denied the claims back then, and even U denied the allegations and blasted the executive for making those allegations. Now, though, this alleged situation might reemerge during Big U's trial. In court documents, there are accusations that in or around 2014, Henley and his associates committed violence against an unspecified individual and their affiliates, including security for refusing to pay, ceasing to answer U's phone calls, and not paying respect via payment. The documents also allege Henley stomped out the individual and chased him through the Los Angeles International Airport days later, along with co-conspirator. Academics assumed the individual was Freeband's boss and the co-conspirator was Wack 100 via context clues and Wack's previous allegations, but none of this has been explicitly confirmed at press time. Yeah. So big, what's his name, man? The guy on FBG. He ended up responding to this and posted a video, and Future shared that. So check this out.
Niggas start off just lying, though. Niggas say, what's the one bitch name? The singer bitch. His baby mama. Bro, you know Sierra name, bro. Stop playing. Niggas is crazy, bro. Like, bro. And then, it don't even sound realistic at all, though. Like, you telling me you ran down on Pluto and Sierra? Oh, you's a bad motherfucker. Oh, this nigga crazy.
So there you have it. They're denying it, obviously, and they're saying it makes no sense of these reports. But, you know, you got to think, man, in LA, a lot of rappers have to check in, which is stupid, makes no damn sense. But if you're out and about in certain areas, you have to check in. The smart thing, and I don't know why these rappers don't do this, bro, go do your show and chill at a hotel. Like, why go out and about, you know, in certain areas and end up causing more problems for yourself? But hey, it is what it is. I mean, artists like to flex and do their thing, so we'll see what comes out of this, but it's crazy nonetheless. All the charges being added to Big U, and then this Future claim stuff, it's out of this world, but we'll see. 50 Cent stopped by GQ to go over his iconic movie roles that he's played, from Get Rich or Die Trying, his own movie, to Righteous Kill, to Den of Thieves, and then he talks about Power and playing the Kanan character, and he reveals something that he's never spoke about. And it is his fallout with the Power creator, aka the writer, Courtney Kemp, who wrote the whole Power series. And he basically reveals how the fallout happened and why it happened. And it's really a situation of ego, of a person wanting to be the star of something despite them not being the actor or the celebrity tied to it. He basically says that, hey, in the beginning, when Power was nothing, nobody knew about it, it was basically the 50 Cent show. And that's true. You know, 50 was the one that was pushing it. 50 was putting his name by it. He was the one that was going doing press runs and got people interested to watch it. And then once it became something, 50 was not the star anymore. He was basically just a side character, Kanan. And then Omari ended up being the star of the show and leading because he's Ghost, obviously the main character. And Courtney Kemp didn't like either of those things, according to 50. Apparently, you know, when people were saying, hey, it's the 50 Cent show, it's the 50 Cent show, Courtney didn't like that and felt like, hey, I'm the one that made the show, it's my show. But, you know, in the public, celebrity-wise, obviously he has a way bigger status than Courtney. People calling it the 50 Cent show makes sense. From there, then, after kind of 50, his character got killed off, Kanan, in season 3, he left and just wasn't really, like, you know, constantly having to do interviews and promote it because it became, you know, a big popular show already. Then she got upset that Ghost was the one that was, the star. So check out this clip in GQ, and I'll talk about it more after.
At some points, when people have success for the first time in their career, sometimes they need it to be all theirs, right? So the difficult thing is if they have their success for the first time and it's a 50 Cent show, it is a 50 Cent show. Like, publicly, people look at it like it's presented by 50 Cent. It's 50 Cent. The story is from Southside Jamaica, Queens. Everything is 50 Cent tied to the show. The music that's playing is 50 Cent. It got awkward for the writer, for the showrunner, because she felt like it was registering as a 50 Cent show instead of her show. And that turned into, it got weird with her behaviors and the things that was going on behind the scenes with her. And then it also was friction between her and Omari, because he was feeling like he was the lead and the star of the show. So she was having a problem with anybody who was leading the show because she felt like it was her show, like it was hers. And it was a show rightfully as a writer, but he is the star of the show. Omari would have died, Ghost Must Die, he would have died where Kanan died, that much earlier. She planned to kill Omari's character off right there. And I'm like, nah. I could feel how the general public was feeling about it, and I knew that was not the right decision. And I was saying, well, she said, well, then if he doesn't die, something has to happen, something big has to happen. And I'm like, me, like, kill my character. Like, I got other shit to do. I could go be 50 Cent and then I don't have to be here anymore. Like, look, I took a pay cut to be there the entire time.
This is a classic case, as you can watch by the clip. If this is true, obviously this is from 50's perspective. This is a classic case of someone having too much of an ego and wanting to be the star of something. And despite enjoying all the success, like, hey, it's my stuff, it's mine, I did this. It's crazy that Courtney Kemp wanted to kill off the Ghost character in season 3 because of their internal issues behind the scenes. Like, how stupid that sounds? Just killing off Ghost in general, I thought it was a dumb idea, because Ghost could have had his own spinoff and a different thing, or Power could have kept going in its own way. There could have been a lot of different versions of, like, Ghost not dying. But she wanted to kill him off in season 3. 50 fought back and said, no, you're going to get insane pushback. It's not going to be a good look. So he was like, just kill off my character. Which even Kanan could have got a crazy spinoff, but I know 50 wasn't dedicated that much into, being an actor and being a role, and having his own show. He didn't want to do that, because he's 50 Cent. He has other shit he has to do, right? But this is a classic example of just, like, egos getting in the way. Like, had Courtney Kemp just played her role and being the writer, she gets credit for it. Every time the show pops up, the text pops up. But some people want to be in the limelight, in front of it. And if that's what you wanted her to be, man, just be an actor, I guess. Don't, just be a writer. Be an actor as well. But, this is like, if you play your role in certain situations, you can succeed, man. Not everybody's meant to be the star. Not everybody's meant to be the big person. Not everybody's meant to be, 50 JM. There's a Tony Yayo, there's a Memphis Bleek for a reason. There's a poor Mr. Porter, Proof, a.k.a. rest in peace to him. A.k.a. why the fuck did I say a.k.a.? Stupid. But, yeah, Proof and all that. There's, everybody plays their role and there's more success, right? What's the saying that Mark Cuban says? To own 10% of a watermelon is better than to own 100% of a grape, right? So, yeah, it's just crazy to hear this, man. And people are kind of giving Courtney Kemp flack now, and she has her own show on Nemesis, and there's a fallout happening there. So who knows, man? But I was just shocked to hear this, man. So it was a crazy thing that 50 revealed on GQ. And it's not looking good for Keefe D at all. And even 50 Cent agrees. For those that aren't aware or have been living under a rock, back in 2023, Keefe D got locked up for ties to potentially being involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. And obviously, over the years, a lot of people have suspected that he had some sort of a role in it. He admitted to police back in 2008 under a proffer agreement that he was in the car that shot at Tupac and eventually killed him. Throughout the years, Keefe D ended up doing interviews talking about his life story and really revealed a bunch of information that involved the Tupac murder. And all those interviews got piled up and used as evidence against him. And now he's locked up, and now the prosecutors have a major win in the case. So let's go over this. Justice for Tupac's death might not be too far away, with September marking 30 years since his death. Keefe will be standing trial in just a few weeks for his alleged role in his death. However, it's turning into an uphill battle for him as he's now facing a major setback. According to All Hip Hop, the judge ruled that a 2008 interview he gave to police can be presented to the jury as evidence. Defense attorneys had attempted to block the interview, arguing that investigators assured Keefe, whose legal name is Dwayne Keefe Davis, the statements would never be used against him in a criminal case. They also claimed he spoke under pressure out of fear for the safety of his family. However, the court found those arguments unpersuasive, noting that Davis was represented by legal counsel during the interview and was not in a vulnerable position when he made those statements. The ruling removes a key element of the defense's pretrial strategy, but it is only one piece of the prosecution's case. Prosecutors are also expected to rely heavily on Davis's 2019 memoir, Compton Street Legend, in which he recounted his alleged role in the events surrounding Shakur's fatal shooting. In the book, Davis claims he was riding in the vehicle involved that night, identified his late nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, as the gunman, and wrote that he supplied the firearm used in the attack. Keefe's defense lawyers maintained those accounts were exaggerated for commercial purposes. They argued they were intended to sell books and attract publicity rather than serve as factual admissions. Prosecutors, however, contend the repeated detailed descriptions support their allegations that Davis helped organize the fatal shooting. The closely watched trial will begin on August 10th and is expected to last approximately 4 weeks. The 64-year-old is charged in connection with the 1996 killing of rap icon Tupac Shakur. If convicted, he could face a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole, which, at 63, he's practically, out there. He's pretty much done with life. So I guess he kind of got away with it because, come on, you're getting locked up in your 60s. Life's already starting to become over pretty soon, So, yeah, so that's it. They are going to present that 2008 interview in court as well as his book. So he is essentially screwed because in that interview, too, he drags Diddy in there. And he says that Diddy paid for the hit to get Tupac. I believe he says that he only got paid half of the money, but he didn't actually touch the money. It was Zip from New York who got the money and ended up using it for himself to open up his club and stuff like that. I explored this in my own documentary, the Diddy $1 million hit documentary. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. I really break down, did he actually spend that $1 million to kill Tupac? 50 Cent saw this and responded to it. And he said something interesting. He said, Keefe D, show some love, brother. Love, LOL. These old school guys are telling. So basically he's going to say, at least 50's predicting that, hey, when the trial starts, Keefe D is going to start talking. And it's probably going to point fingers at Diddy because he hates the fact that Diddy got away with all this stuff and that, Diddy is not going to be serving a lot of time for the stuff that he got locked up for. I mean, his release date got released up to January. So he got pushed up again, despite him getting into solitary confinement and getting into fights, which is no surprise there. But that's it for this. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's basically going to be impossible to drag Diddy into this. There is no official tie to him in any way, shape, or form. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless and what happens. And the trial's starting very soon here. So I will keep you guys updated as much as I can with this trial and see what happens. Maybe Tupac gets finally some justice and at least 1 out of the 4 people gets locked up for his murder. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. Oh man, we got a response from Uncle Murda specifically and Tony Yayo regarding Memphis Bleek. And if you don't know, Memphis Bleek went recently on The Breakfast Club and basically disrespected mainly Tony Yayo, but he also went at Uncle Murda to a certain extent. And he said a lot of disrespectful things. He basically said these guys are dependents on 50 and that they don't have their own businesses and that if 50 wasn't touring or doing any of that stuff, they would be in shelters, which is insanely disrespectful. To say somebody would be homeless because of another man not doing something is the ultimate form of disrespect. But not only that, he starts to mention, do these guys have houses? Do these guys even have families that they go and hang out with and take care of? And all that, which is to me personally, that starts to get to more personal stuff. And when you're bringing in families and kids and stuff, it's I think that's too far. But so he basically went on this crazy rant and it caught headlines all over. But this was roughly like a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago.
If 50 said 1 year, these are be in a shelter, they shouldn't be allowed to talk about us or anybody when you literally are a dependent.
So people were waiting on, Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo to respond. And the response is here. They appeared on $1 Million Worth of Game, and Gilly asked them about what Memphis Bleek said. I'm going to play Uncle Murda's clip first because he's the one that goes off. You can tell like what Bleek said kind of got to him to a certain extent. And he lists all his businesses. He says, hey, I went to Disney with my kids, 12 kids, 13 kids. He said, I brought with me, I'm not going to be in a homeless shelter. I just did a deal with, I think, Empire for $1 million or 7 figures. He said he didn't mention a specific number. We have the podcast deal. We're doing all these other things. We have a dispo and all this stuff. So check out this clip.
And I know Bleek said he got a restaurant. I don't mind. We can do this too. We could go. Let's see what you made last month, and we could show what we made last month, and we could continue to do month for month to see who's making more money as far as that business is concerned. We could go business for business as far as that, right? And we could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin because I got a bunch of those too. So as far as me being back in the hood, that would never happen. And we could show houses too. I got a pool. We could show who houses flyer and all type. We could do that. We could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin. Hold on. All that. We could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin. We could do this. And not to mention, we got a nice check from Valium to even do this podcast, right? We getting paid like real good money to do this podcast. And on top of that,
fastest growing podcast.
And on top of that, I heard him talk about, he put out, because I didn't know he was talking about me. Like, I'm surprised. Bleek, we both from Brooklyn. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
I'm going to retract that.
I'm surprised. But no, hold on.
I just thought he said
I'm surprised. He was talking about me like, damn, nigga. But on top of that, shout out to Ghazi and Nima. That's Empire. I just did a deal with them for 7 figures with my music. So I get paid to put out music as well. So as far as I got to deal with Empire, I get paid to put out music, right? My dispensary is doing fucking great. Shout out to my niggas Mo, West, the whole indoor, the unit dispo, right? We getting podcast money as well. And the nigga get a whole lot of money with 50. It's great to perform with 50.
All over the world?
All over the world. It's great to perform with 50 all over the world. A damn near perform with 50 probably at least 10 to 12 times out the month. That's what you call a bag. It's hustling. Don't depend on 50, but get money with 50. And I salute that and I appreciate that like a mother. And with 50 creates other opportunities to get money. That's how it was easy to get the dispo and things of that like that. So it's a blessing to with this 50. But the nigga don't, the nigga's not dependent on 50 to get no money. Like, what the fuck is talking about? It's crazy, man.
It's hustling.
And the only Bleek, hold up, man. And the only, hold up, man. And the only Bleek verse I ever fucking like is the one that Jay-Z wrote. The only Bleek verse I ever like is the one that Jay-Z wrote. I ain't never like a Bleek verse that he wrote by himself. Fuck out of here. No Memphis Bleek fans like that neither, nigga.
All right, yo, look.
But damn, I'm surprised you talked about me, Bleek.
Now look. I ain't gonna listen.
You said he said something about me.
Don't worry.
I ain't with that. Yo, niggas talk about. I ain't with it.
I said.
I ain't with it.
If
a nigga be back in the hood, is you crazy?
He was about me more, right? So a nigga
back
said,
to that shit.
Right? Why you starting like that?
No, I'm just saying back to that. I'm dead serious.
You
back to that
right now.
Yeah, I am. I'm on 1,000.
That's Learjet Lenny.
I'm on 1,000, nigga.
You talking about
We can
Learjet
go
Lenny,
Bitcoin
nigga.
for Bitcoin, bank account for bank account, and business statements for business statements. And we can do it next week.
Yo, look.
And let's check the transactions. You know how you can scratch it out so nobody wire nobody nothing. Let's see how much money really got. And check the safe. Because we got the safe money too. I got a safe in the crib. And I just took my kids' first class flights on Disney. We was in Disney World. I do with the kids. You heard? It was me and 2 of the homies and 13 kids. We do with the kids.
All right, Merc, can I get
and my daughter be in college next year. Pardon me, I'm turned up. And the kids is in swimming school. Because I got a big swimming pool in the backyard.
Now look.
Do you got a pool?
So look. Now
I'm just being clear.
All right, now look.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, thank you.
And as you can see, Murda was on 1,000. He was really, really irritated by what Bleek said because, I think that the part that gets to them is the, saying that they would be in shelters and bringing family and kids into it. I think that's too far. The family and kids thing is just like crazy and out of there. But if you're talking about money, bank for bank, whatever, that's grown adult stuff. You guys can argue back and forth about that. And then Tony Yayo, drops his 2 cents in it. And Yayo's more calm about it. But basically, Yayo just repeats that, hey, we're doing this.
Jay don't got to take care of him.
But nobody's taking care of me.
But hold on. Let me finish.
That's where you're getting it wrong. I don't pay my
Hold on,
bills.
let
Don't pay my taxes.
First.
My first house is bought off my album.
Let him get his point out. Go ahead. What you about to say,
He said, I'm glad you came in. I'm glad you clearing a lot of this up with the
what stripes niggas got?
Go businesses, you know what I mean?
We're going to talk about what stripes niggas got too next.
He said something pertaining to you too, Murda, about if.
He said something about me.
If
I ain't hear this.
Oh, you did? Oh,
no, I ain't know you said something about me.
Maybe
Damn,
it wasn't
Bleek,
you.
You talking about me?
No, maybe it wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
If 50 stopped fucking with for a year, it'll be over.
I will be in a trap. What is you talking about? If I can't, I'm still a street. I'm not on Jay-Z, Nas and them level. It's cool. I was making money before. Like niggas would be like, yo, Yayo was a pack pumper. No, I was getting money on 134 and God Brew.
Let me say this.
You can ask niggas.
Let me say this.
Essentially, if you look at this whole thing, it's just Yayo saying that, Jay-Z does take care of Bleek to a certain extent, but basically what Yayo's overall saying is that he doesn't give Bleek opportunities like 50 does them. 50 puts Yayo and Murda in the same rooms as him to meet the same people, versus Jay-Z goes and meets billionaires like the former Twitter owner and hangs out with the white party, Michael Rubin, but Bleek is not with him in there to bring him in that room. So he's basically saying that, yes, Jay-Z does help Bleek to a certain extent. Same with 50 and Yayo, but he doesn't look out for him to like meet new people and build business relationships, because 50 and Jay are at different levels. They get into different rooms. They have a different star power versus Bleek and Yayo. They're at a different tier, a lower tier, and they can't get as much access as those two. So basically Yayo is just saying, hey, we get more access than what Bleek does, and that 50 looks out more. After that response on $1 million worth of game from Yayo and Murda, Memphis Bleek immediately responded to what Murda said about him only having one good verse that was written by Jay-Z. And he responded on Twitter and said this. He tight, bunch of laughing emojis. He says, I got one, he got none. He better go get one. Basically talking about having at least one good verse versus Uncle Murda not having a single good verse. And to be honest with you, I don't know a lot of Memphis Bleek music, and I don't know a lot of Uncle Murda music. I don't listen to them too. I know actually Yayo's music more because of his debut album. His album was huge, Thoughts of a Predicate Felon. Because So Seductive, I Know You Don't Love Me, all these other records. But in terms of Memphis Bleek, I know Around Here, that's probably one of my favorite records, but I never really listened to Bleek like that. I wasn't a fan. Same with Murda. I didn't listen to Murda like that. I know he has those year-round raps, which are cool, but I don't really listen to him either. So musically on both of their ends, I don't, I think Yayo is actually better than all of them in my opinion. But I think overall this is a situation that just I think it's gotten out of hand. And at the end of the day, they both all depend on either Jay or 50 to a certain extent. I'm not saying that they're sitting on their asses not doing anything, but that's the benefit of it. Like knowing somebody at that level and being with them before they were famous. Not Murda, obviously, because he wasn't 150 before he was famous, but Yayo and Bleek, I'm talking about them too. They put in the groundwork. They were with these guys before they made it. So they should get the perks of being able to go into rooms that they couldn't do by themselves. They should be able to make money with them. Like they were loyal, from the early stages. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like not everybody can be a 50 or a J. There has to be people that can be a Yayo or a Bleek, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like right now, 99.9% of people would trade their lives to be in Yayo's position or Bleek's position, and take on all the onslaught of, oh, you're getting taken care of by 50, you're getting taken care of by Jay-Z. Like I would take that onslaught, no problem. I had no issues with people trolling me online about that, and they troll Bleek and Yayo about that all the time. But who cares? They're rich. I could care less. If I was in that position, I wouldn't care less what the people on the internet say, because 99.9% of the people on the internet would love to trade their lives with them too. Who wouldn't? You get to travel the world. You get to get thousands upon hundreds of thousands to potentially millions. you're somewhat famous. You're not too famous to where you can't go out, but you're famous that, you know, people recognize you every now and then. And yeah, you don't have to do all the groundwork like 50 and J. You know, because some people don't want to be on that 50 and J level because it gets annoying. You can't go anywhere. Everybody recognizes you. You have a lot more obligations versus a Bleek and Yayo. They get to chill out a little bit more. They get to do kind of cool things on the side. And, you know, they're not as globally recognized. But overall, this is corny. I think, you know, if they really want to put money where their mouth is, like Murda said, put bank account in a bank account, you know, and just, hey, that's the only way you can shut people up. But ultimately, you know, Murda and Yayo were just saying, hey, we have our own businesses. We have our own thing going that is not reliant on a 50. Like, yeah, did some of these deals happen because of 50? Of course. But the same thing with Bleek. You think Bleek, if he had no ties to Jay-Z anymore, look at Dame Dash, no disrespect to him. No ties to Jay-Z. They know that he doesn't mess with Jay-Z. Dame Dash doesn't have as great as opportunities as like a Bleek does because Bleek is still cool with Jay-Z. So people look at it as like, oh, if I help Bleek, maybe Bleek can help me get to Jay-Z. Unfortunately, that's how people look at it, at least majority of people. You know, so yeah, they all benefit off of Jay and 50. From Bleek's side to Murda's side to Yayo's side, they all benefit. You know, it looks like Yayo and Murda are more dependent on 50 because of the touring. But no, I mean, Jay-Z just doesn't tour. If Jay-Z actually toured, it would be, I don't know if Jay-Z would even bring Bleek with him, to be honest with you, which would be kind of disrespectful, but it is what it is. That's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to go over the Billboard Hot 100 and what's the other one? Album sales, because they haven't been updated since the last time I recorded, which is like the timing of, because when I record sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, it updates already. So it's like a week. Yeah, just whatever. New music, though, I can go over that. Shabuzi dropped The Outlaw, Cherie Lee, and Other Western Tales, the album. Ken Carson dropped Cartoons, the EP. Cardi B dropped Aha, the single. Tyga dropped Starface, the album. Rod Wave dropped Hustle. Meek Mill dropped Nightmares to Dreams, which is the part 2 to Dreams and Nightmares, and a lot of people are praising it. So shout out to Meek Millie. He's actually kind of needed because LeBron James is now in Philly, so he's probably going to go dumb because of that. Juicy J, The Clock, Don't Go Back, the album. Trippie Redd dropped Swagger. Davies and Harry Fraud dropped Price of Pain, the album. Too Short dropped Sir Too Short, Volume 2, Drink and Smoke. Logic dropped Paradise Records, the compilation. Fabio Foreign dropped Chasin'. Moneyman dropped Don't Try This at Home, the album. And that's it for new music released. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. I promise you guys I'm going to do more lists and stuff. I'm just organizing some things. We just hired podcast editor Ivan. Shout out to you. We just hired him full-time to start working with us and helping. So we're just organizing things, and I'm going to do more lists and stuff like that. It's needed. I know I got to do the Michael Jackson one. I want to do Kanye, Jay-Z, whoever I can do. I want to definitely get some more lists out there, but just give me another episode or two to organize things out. And then maybe in September, I actually have to go overseas probably for like a week or two. So I'll have to see with that as well. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to make it happen. We're going to organize things better, and we're getting organized better, which is thank God. And yeah, that's it. So have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and stream on Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, and peace.